Hello everybody, I'm Count Christo, and I just wanted to do a quick video looking at the Stellaris espionage system. I'm going to do in the new Nemesis DLC. I'm playing as the human Star Realm. I lead the Human League. We have a very egalitarian name for this hegemony, and all of this slot currently falls under my sway. Soon this slot, this slot, and this slot. This is an off-camera campaign I'm doing just to check out the new DLC. And yeah, so once the campaign finishes, I'll probably do a full retrospective. I'll probably also do a campaign playing as the Crisis, doing like a hive mind, eat everyone on the planet. That seems fun. But I want us to do an individual video just looking quickly at the espionage system because it's cool. They've added some really cool stuff. So let's take a look at the Commonwealth of Banethvir over here. So they've got inferior technology, but they have some technologies that I don't have, especially because I tend to ignore technologies that I don't find particularly relevant in order to research stuff that's going to take much longer to do, but is more helpful. So espionage tab. Oh, okay. Bad example. I don't actually have a spy network on them. Who do I have a spy network with? Here we go. That's one of the problems, and we'll get to the problems later. But first, let me remain positive. So we have this envoy. He's building a spy network. There's an infiltration level. It's hidden all this information in a tooltip. Don't know why it's not just here, but okay. And then we've got this intel level, and there's crap tons of information buried in tooltips over here that could be displayed on a bigger window, but that's okay. Generally, it's a pretty functional system. If you've played Hearts of Iron, you will recognize this system because it's pretty similar. The way the operations actually happen is different, but you don't pay any attention to how the operations happen, so that's not really very relevant. There's various parts of this system that look like they're designed for you to pay a lot of attention to them. So let's say I want to gather information. Okay, we've previously done some missions to get assets. So I have these guys, and they will help me do missions, basically. And this guy is good at sabotaging and the economy. This guy's good at sabotaging and government. So he's different skills for different missions. Cool system. All right, so I want to gather some information. I'm going to commence it when ready, because there's a this is one of the reasons why it feels very similar to Hoi. And we're going to send a guy. We'll just send. I don't really care. We'll send this guy. He's going to go with it. He's going to give us some extra bonuses. Relative power. They're way weaker than ours, but their technology is equivalent. That's good to know. And their relative encryption is very weak. So we're going to have a huge bonus to our maximum infiltration, our daily infiltration progress, and operation difficulty goes down by 4. So the difficulty of this is -2, which is easy. We don't get a skill bonus, and we haven't got any insights yet. So then we launch this. Now there's this thing running. We have a 0% breakthrough chance, and it basically runs like an EU4 siege. Every 30 days it rolls the dice, and as we can see here, there's a 30% chance the result is 5 or less, which does nothing. A 50% chance it's 6 to 10, which gives us 1 insight. 20% chance it's between 11 and 13. That gives us 2 insights, right? And that's just based on the numbers of the difficulty, the skill bonus, and the current insights. When you have more insights, the breakthrough rolls become easier. It's an EU4 siege, basically. And we're going to commence it when ready, because there's like different phases to this mission. Although it seems this one only has 1 phase. So some of them have like 3 stages, in which case, if you don't check that. But you will always check that. And here's how you interact with this mission now that you've launched it. You don't. There's absolutely no engagement with the mission. There's no engagement, in fact, until a pop-up comes up and says, we finished the mission. And when that pop-up comes up, there is no button to go back to this screen to then set the next mission. There isn't even a go-to on some of the operation ends to go to the empire where the mission was in. You just have to remember the name and then go and find them on the map or find them in your envoy list. That's the first problem. This is cool because it lets you do new things like steal technology. So I have 9 envoys right now. I could potentially be building up to trying to steal technology from 9 different empires. In order to do that, I would have to go through all the empires, check if I had an espionage ring, or I could go to my envoy list. And on my envoy list, which is needlessly uncompact, even with UI mods to make it less compact, I can see, okay, I have a spy network on these guys, so I'll go him, I'll go espionage. Okay, we're going to steal technology, not sabotage service. We're going to steal technology. We're going to add in our asset, commence when ready, launch, close that. Okay, next. this guy, we're going to go espionage, we're going to go steal technology, we're going to add in an asset, commence when ready, launch. Okay, next one. This one, we're going to go espionage, we're going to go steal technology, we're going to add an asset in, we're going to go launch. Okay. Now I only actually have, whatever, 4 spy networks being built right now because I'm representing my interests in the Human League right now. If I wanted to right now, I'd have 9. And I'm about to get 2 more envoys from my Ascension perk, so I could have 11. And those missions, you can do them once every 6 years. So how does going through a list of what would then be 11 spy networks every 6 years sound? I'll tell you how it sounds. It sounds mind-numbingly boring. The optimal way to play the game has now been, something has been incorporated into the optimal way to play the game, which is very, very dull to interact with. Because if all I want from these people, like I'm doing well, right? I'm kind of winning. All I want from these people is technology. I can't assign multiple envoys to an individual empire in order to boost up my spy network strength against them. So if I want to use all my envoys for spying, I'm going to have to spy on 11 different empires. That's gonna take a lot of work. That's gonna take a huge amount of micromanagement, basically going through a long list every 6 years. Now, let's say you're not doing it strictly on a timetable. The only way to see where you have operations running, as far as I can tell, in any kind of consolidated way, is to go to the envoy screen and check if you can move your envoys, because you can't move them if they have an operation ongoing. There's not, for example, an espionage screen, which is very odd. Like, that seems like such an obvious thing that should have been added in along with this DLC. Where's my espionage tab? An espionage tab that shows all of my spy networks. Like, you go to contacts, right? This I presume is where I'm supposed to interact with people to do espionage, even though there's no information here about espionage. So you should do things like, if you wanted to incorporate into this tab, have another column, spy network, tell me the intel level and the spy network strength, and then operation ongoing. Yes, no. And if no, I want a button. I click the button. It's start operation. It gives me a bunch of different buttons for all the different operations. I click the one I want. It pops up the window. I hit launch. That would be good. That would be really nice. That would mean I wouldn't have to go through. It would mean I could interact with my enemies based on their relative strength. As you can see, this campaign is it's going easy. I'm only playing on whatever, like the 4th difficulty level or something, 5th difficulty level. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not well implemented. Because there's no consolidated screen to interact with it. And there's no way to say, for example, they clearly want me to engage with this like it's a narrative device, right? They want me to kind of think, oh yes, I got that asset in this story, and then I'm going to engage with that in this. But I've got 11 envoys. It's the conflict of Stellaris between it being a grand strategy game and it being a kind of storytelling game with the kind of, it's got all this flavor text around missions. Like, you know, okay, we're gonna go here, we're gonna gather information, our operatives will compile information, assign an asset, yes, all this, and it'll give us lots of phase reports. But no one's gonna read this. Some people will. Some people will read it on one playthrough, but then they've read it. And some YouTubers will read it when they're playing through the game. But most people are just going to hit launch and then they're going to close the window. And they've put lots of effort into the storytelling stuff, and they haven't put very much effort into the utility, which is not they haven't put very much effort, that's unfair, but they haven't done some very obvious things to make it easier. For example, all I want this guy to do, girl in this case, whatever, is to steal information. That's all I'm interested in from all of these spy networks. Where is my checkbox to just repeat when possible? Now, the downside of having that checkbox is that it means that you don't engage with the story side. But I'm not going to engage with the story side anyway. So at least give me the choice. That's my problem with the spy network stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty annoying to come across other species and have to assign one of your envoys to know whether they are overwhelming fleet power or in pathetic fleet power relative to you. Especially when you only have 2 envoys. Later game, it's less of an issue, but at the beginning of the game with 2 envoys, that's a real pain. Yeah, but that is just a quick issue with the current spy network system. I will reference this video in my summary, because obviously once I get to the summary, there'll be no one independent in the whole galaxy, so I can I won't have anyone to spy on. Thank you for watching. I hope it's not too negative. There are fun things about this this DLC. The Crisis stuff looks cool, which I'm going to be doing in the next one. Interestingly, the first tier of the Crisis gives you plus 500% pop extermination speed, or pop, I assume which also applies to pop consumption. I could be wrong. Which is not what you want when you're exterminating pops, because you want to try and stack up as many pops as possible in one planet, because they only get killed one by one. But yeah, people have already mentioned that the growth rate thing is kind of broken because of the carrying capacity issues. It's extremely easy to get around by just having tons and tons of housing in a planet, and also cloning is unaffected. You do still have to grow a higher number, like we have to grow 257 because we've got whatever X number of pops in the nation, so pop growth does slow down, but pop growth slowing down is good. It's very good for the performance of the game. The game runs much nicer. It's not running as good as it was earlier, but it's I have noticed significant performance increase. We haven't got to obviously like super end game yet. It's only 23, 24, but yeah, pretty good. I'd get the expansion if I were you. That's if you don't want to wait for the kind of semi-review, kind of retrospective that will be coming later. I'd get it. It's pretty fun. But yeah, just a small problem that I wish they would work on. I wish we would have an espionage tab, but the problem is we won't. It's extremely unlikely we'll ever get an espionage tab, because usually it's not in Paradox's business model to spend a lot of effort enhancing things that they've already sold you. They usually move to the next DLC, which is fair enough. I mean, that's how their content is monetized. I wish they were subscription based, in which case they would continue to enhance and integrate earlier features. But I don't know. We'll see if they ever change that up in the future. But that's a different topic for a different video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.